Hey there, welcome to the archives. So usually when I get on here, I'm sharing other people's books, but we're at the end of August, and for me, Black August was just about pitching, just pitching all my projects that I have ready to go. So I have three, four. I've been pitching five. I have one more to pitch this week, but I've been pitching five projects. Three of them is a trilogy. So I pitched individual projects, one, and then the fourth one is the three of them together in one book. Because I attended an event where one of the publishers was like, I brought up, how do you pitch multiple projects? And she was like, that's great, but also consider putting them all together in one book, because that might be more feasible in the publishing world. Not everybody's going to have, first of all, the fact that you might even get success is rare. But the publisher was also telling me not a lot of publishers, they're not too sure whether you'll have like one hit, another hit, not hit, but like, you know what I mean? In a trilogy, it could be tricky. So she also said, consider putting them together in one book. So that I pitched that as a project as well too. And then I also have a contemporary romance. So I don't know if I'm gonna get through all of them today, but I thought I would share some of my own writing, like what I'd be doing here. Right? What is she doing in her time as an unemployed DEI? I write, right? I'm a writer. I used to write aspiring, and then I saw somebody talk about how you need to like own it, and so I'm not just aspiring. I'm writing, right? I'm actively writing, and I don't just journal. I write, and so I thought I would share some of the projects I've been working on here. The synopsis. I thought I would share some of the synopsis I've been working on the last little while. Just so you have an idea of kind of like what I write. I'm all over the place in terms of a writer. Again, I'm only trained academically in nonfiction, right? So essays, I'm trained in sociology, so I'm a sociologist by training. What else do you need to know? Sociologist by training, over 20 years in academia, post-secondary. I did 4 years bachelor's, 4 years master's, almost 10 years PhD. So I've been in school for almost, for a very long time, right? Almost 20 years. Not as post-grad, like since high school. I spent almost 20 more years since I finished high school doing school, right? So out of that, you learn how to write. I wouldn't say I'm the best academic writer. I'm more of an autistic writer, and that's really, like, the academics don't like that. They like coherent, straight. So that's something I've been teaching myself, how to write more succinctly, because I'm more of like a streams of consciousness, just get it out. So I decided to branch out. As I was doing my PhD, I realized that I really enjoy creative writing. I always did as a child. And I found there was this power struggle because I was trying to turn my PhD into a creative project. And the PhD is not a creative project, right? It's a PhD. It's a doctorate. It's academic, it's science. It has to be scientific based. So my body rejects it. So I realized I wanted to do more. So I said, when I finish my PhD, I want to do more fiction writing. And autoethnography, because I use ethnography as a research method in my PhD, I was really considering autoethnography, right? Specifically using Octavia Butler. So I tried to like come up with a few things, but graduated in 2022. Since 2022, before I even finished my PhD, I started dabbling in creative fiction. Poetry. I've been trying to write some more poetry. I wouldn't call myself a poet, but that's how I get a lot of like the hard stuff out, I find. Rejection, poetry, men stuff, poetry, right? Just like, it's just easier to get out in poetry. But fiction is something I've really been taking to. I've really been taking to writing fiction. It's been so much fun. So much fun. So I have, because of my PhD was autoethnography, I wanted to stick with the ethnography. Since I was a little kid, I've seen myself writing a trilogy. I always thought if I ever told my life story, I could see it in 3. This one is more than 3. And again, it's not really my life story. It's fiction, right? It's autofiction, so it's loosely based on my life story, but it's largely fake. And I did that for several reasons, including to protect myself and others, right? They're still ungrateful and they still would rather you just shut up and not write anything. But like, this is why I had to remove myself from certain people, because if people claim to love you, but if they had their way, you'd be a mute. You would never say a word, right? Because they're always afraid of what you're going to say. So, part of that's why I decided to write an autofiction, right? So it's still fake. I use names from my real life. I switched events around. But a lot of it are things that have actually happened to me. Yeah, so that's one. And then during the pandemic, I wanted to, after I found out about the LGBTQIA ban in Ghana, again, I had just left Toronto, just gotten kicked out. I was in an Airbnb on the Quebec side. I didn't have a whole lot of capacity, a whole lot of friends. I got just money. It was just the easiest way for me to do resistance at that time was to tell a story, especially because I know that storytelling is something that really, how much the Ghanaian community will try to shut me up. I knew that for me, that was my best form of resistance at the time, right? Writing to politicians would be a waste of time for me in my case, because I'm surrounded by politicians. They don't give a fuck what I say. I also have no contact with a lot of people, so writing felt like I could do this right now. I want to challenge myself to do this right now. So I started writing the contemporary romance in 2021, and I finished it, I think, last year. So it's taken some time to get it written, and even that looks like it might be a trilogy. Right, I definitely see, first it was Libya Nehru, now I see them as ASHANTI and TEMA, and so I finished that one finally. So that's what I've been working on here. A trilogy, which is loosely based on my life. That one is more middle grade and young adult, again, because I'm telling the early lifestyle, I'm talking about the early phases of my life, right? So Nana ESSIE is that project. I'm so proud of that project. I love that project. And I'm also glad I'm to the point where I don't need as much external validation. Rejection sucks, but I think life has, being rejected so much. As a writer, writing will humble you. I'm on a writing mailing list of somebody. I always forget people's names, but this white woman, I'm following this white woman who's a writer, freelance writer, a couple of freelance writers, but one of them was talking about how getting rejected is like what writers do, and she was saying she's been rejected over 100 times already this year. And remember that we just crossed a halfway. I'm trying to find her name, I can't find it. Writing resources. The clothesline newsletter. Vanessa Chiazon, I believe. Anyway, so yeah, Vanessa was saying she's been rejected over 100 times already as a freelance writer, which is what I'm trying to get into, what I'm doing. I had a freelance project at the top of the year, which went well. And like I said, I've been focusing on these projects here. So there's the trilogy is Nana ESSIE. So if I put it together as one, that's how I see it. That'll be the title. But then that's broken down into 3 books, right? Nana ESSIE, she's 9 in that one. I'm not going to share the synopsis because this is already long, but I think that's what I'll probably do over the next few. I might stop it and then do each different synopsis and post them at separate times. But that's all I wanted to share is I usually get on here and share other people's works. I just wanted to remind folks that I'm also a writer. which is why I also read a lot, because that's how I study, right? English, I think sometimes we forget that English is not my first language. It's actually my third language. So although I lost one, which is one of the stories I write about, right? Losing one of the languages I spoke. So those are some of the different themes. Middle grade fiction, young adult contemporary fiction, and contemporary romance. That one's the LGBTQ romance. So those are some of the projects I've been working on here. That's a total of 5 books I've written. A total of 5 books. 6 technically are ready to go because 3 become 1, right? So there's Nana ESSIE, Mademoiselle ESSIE, Miss S, ESSIE, which is the one I need to pitch right now. That's the 4th book. And then ASHANTI and TEMA. So, yeah, when you hear people be like, Dorothy is lazy, just remind them she wrote 6 books, technically 5 books. And that's all without AI. I don't use AI. I'll use AI to be like, hey, give me a 50-word elevator pitch, and then I'll just put the synopsis. But like, if anybody's telling you that I use AI, I do not use AI for any of my writing. And if I do use AI, I'll tell you. I asked AI this question, here's what it told me, okay? So I don't want people, again, there's nothing wrong with AI, I just don't use AI to do my writing. So that's 5 books that I've written from scratch. I do all the character development on paper. I do down to like what sign they are, their personalities, right? I really take my time with writing these projects. Again, because I'm not a trained fictional writer. I don't have an MFA, right? I'm not an arts girl. I never really have been trained because I didn't have the luxury of doing that, right? I wasn't allowed to. But now that I'm grown, I can do what I want. So that's what I've been doing, is writing how I want. Is it paid? No. Not yet. Probably never. If designers had their way, I would never be paid for any of my writing. But again, that's not why I do this, right? That's not why I write for myself. It's mostly therapy at this point. A lot of my writing is therapy. But I want to get it out, right? I want to put it out, which is hard for me because I don't technically actually like being perceived, even though that might be like I actually don't. So, yeah, so the next few, I'm going to do the synopsis. I'll share some of the different writing projects that I've written and I would like to see in the world, whether that's through self-publishing or other publishing. Like I said, I've been pitching because August is a month where the portal is open for some of the publishers. I don't have an agent, and a lot of publishers require agents, so that's why August I've been pitching, right? It's because I don't have an agent. I'm pitching agents. If you know anybody who'd be a good fit for an agent, please reach out to me and let me know. I usually ask you guys to reach out. No one reaches out. But if you know an agent that would be a good fit, please let me know. I am pitching agents right now. I'm also pitching these projects right now because the portal is open in August. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing here. I'm also open to self-publishing. That one I probably will not do right now because I just want to get the art out. I just want to create. I just want to write, right? At this point, all of the business behind the scenes, I wish I could hire. If I had money, I would hire somebody to do that. I don't have money. So realistically, the self-publishing route, that might take a little bit more time. I would rather somebody else do that at the point because I have other projects, right? I want to do mystery. There's a mystery project I have in my mind that I want to write where, I don't know, for those of you who have moles around your eyes, Amani B. I was watching a video and I saw Amani B's mole and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful, right? And like my grandmother had them, I had them. So I have a story where a group of underground black women, they use their moles to do telepathy. What else? There's another sci-fi-ish one I have about Aria. Thank you. Yeah, all to say is I have more projects. I also have a book of short stories that I've started. That one is called Astral Love Projections, Aria. I have a book of poetry that I've written. I've started to write. See, when you fall down now and the lamp falls on you, I have a book of poetry. Like I said, Nana ESSIE series continues all the way up until she's 50. So I have the Nana ESSIE series, which continues. There's more to come from her story. Right now it ends off with her at 50, and she's in Barbados for crop over with her family. She's a mother. She's married. She has 2 girls and a boy, a bonus son. Yeah, her and her family get along. I doubt that'll be my case, but that's where Nana ESSIE ends off. She's 50 years old, and she's a mom, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's doing the thing, she's a writer. I love that for her. Like, it's what I see for myself, right? At 50. So Nana ESSIE, there's more to come from her. What else? Oh, Octavia Butler. Like, see, that's what I mean. Like, my PhD, I haven't even translated my PhD yet. I would like to do that still. I still have to write Octavia Butler and the Future of Emotions. That's where I use some of the chapters for my PhD, but then I expand on it. That's the shame work. I still got to go back to shame. There's just a whole bunch of projects I really want to continue to put out. So that's kind of what my writing projects look like over here. That's what I've been working on over here, is trying to get that out. Right, so anyways, this is really long. I'll share again, the next synopsis is what comes. So if anybody's interested in like what I've been writing, if you've never read anything I've written in terms of my fiction, you could check out the next few videos. Okay, until next time, in solidarity.